Well, man, it's kind of dark days today, so let's
Yeah.
suffer through and get into it. Uh, this is We Are the Game. I'm Luke, and that's Michael, and we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and their kind of crushing loss. It would feel like, from at least from the
Yeah.
outside, to the Chicago Bears today. I don't want to hold things up too long, Michael. I'm just going to let you rant. Tell me what you saw in whatever order pleases you, or maybe not pleases you, but that you can.
Yeah. Yeah. It might have been safer for everyone for you to have monologued further. Yeah. So the place to start, man, wow, defense. It would be nice to have some. Um, the defense was problematic in so many different ways. In the first half, it's like we fell for every trick in the book. Like the flea flicker in particular hurt. It was particularly poorly played, I think, on our side. And it happens. It happens. If it was just one thing, that would have been fine, but it was not one thing. Obviously, we didn't have any pressure on the quarterback. Caleb was able to sit back there most of the day, run around, kind of do what he wanted. And as it turns out, when you give a guy that much time, he can sit. He's going to be pretty good. Caleb looked fantastic. The touch on some of his passes and all of that. We had the same problem we've had since last week. It took people 2 weeks to find that weakness, which was the long game. Like if you can throw the ball down the field, we're not going to cover it. I would love to see us adjust to that. I don't. It makes me wonder about Hooker and Wilson as far as our safeties go and how we can utilize them or how we are utilizing them because they look lost a lot of this game, Hooker in particular. So that was a big problem with the game. Is we were playing a lot of zone, and on the other side, we were not able to get any pressure, which just left them time to run around until they made big plays. Did you see a bigger problem out
No,
there than that?
no, not a bigger one. I mean, and that's whenever you're giving up a 65-yard bomb, like that's going to be the
Yeah.
big glaring thing. You can't just give up the entire drive in one play. It reminded me in some ways, just as you were talking about it, this reminds me of pre-2022 NFL kind of. Where there was less of the two deep safety looks and things like that, where they're trying to stop that exact thing. And that's kind of what it reminded me of last week and this week. Last week I could just kind of say, that was Russell Wilson having himself a nice day. But 2 weeks in a row, you're getting on towards a real trend. I know it takes three to make a trend, but hopefully we don't get to that with the Packers looming.
Amen.
But we'll see. It is, I believe, the main problem. Without that, this game is much closer. Like if you are just not giving up the huge plays, which I don't mean to make that a small deal. They have good wide receivers in Chicago. Then this game is much closer. But let's move to the other side of the ball. On offense, there are some numbers that make it look like this is pretty good. Was this just about critical plays, turning things the other way, or is there more of a system-wide problem here? What do you think about the offense?
There were definitely things that were working good. I was just happened to see earlier that Dak Prescott's like I think number 4 in total yards this season, right? So there's been productivity, and one would expect that to be more challenging with CeeDee Lamb out, right? CeeDee Lamb is probably one of the top. Let's be generous and say 5 wide receivers in the game in terms of yardage in particular. So when he's not in this, you would expect there to be a drop off there, even with people trying to fill in. So things on the offensive side from a passing game were frustrating in one particular route, but I mean he's fairly accurate. I want to say he was 31 of 40 or something like that, passing 250 yards, maybe something like that. There were 2 interceptions, and they're worth going over. The first interception, if I believe it was the first, there was almost a third one, was into the hands of George Pickens, who, in my estimation, had 3 catchable balls that ricocheted off of him, and 2 of them were almost interception. One was um, the interception. The guy was just in the right place, the right time. Ball fell in his hands, took off. Right. That it's sad that the quarterback carries that, but that one I definitely feel like was on George Pickens overall. The second one is the shortcoming of Dak Prescott. and maybe even this offensive scheme that we're running right now, which is we were at maybe the 4 yard line, we ran the ball down to the one. We then decided we're going to have Dak pass an out to somebody and missed him by maybe 4 yards, 4 feet over it. I think it was Ferguson's head, and that's hard to do because Ferguson's not short. And then he threw another one over somebody and just could not bring the ball down. Finally, he throws we forced it the next time, and he throws the interception in the end zone. So it is rough to watch in that respect, but only that one was on him. That was an ugly one.
Yeah.
But that was the only one on it. The problem I have with that is I'm talking about coaching for a second. One of the things I was really excited about with this coaching staff is they kind of have a reputation as we're not doing hero ball. We want you to play in the scheme, stay true to it. We're not going to have you go run a bunch and all that. That's cool. Today, I kind of felt like there was the shortcoming of that. Dak didn't run one time, and I feel like there were very big lanes for him to potentially just, hey, I'm just going to go get 5, 6, 7 yards. Or, hey, now that we're in the red zone, we're on the 1 yard line, maybe we should run some things where Dak is in motion. He's not fast, but he's certainly not slow. He's a hard guy to bring down. And there was no attempt at that as far as I could see really in the game. I'd like to see us find a healthy middle ground there somewhere, if that makes sense. But I think from the passing side, Pickens was a real quandary. He had some moments. The touchdown pass he did catch was world class. One arm out, just kind of caught it, made it look so casual. That was beautiful. But then the drop passes was really problematic, and we really need more from him probably next week in Green Bay on that. Ferguson was a revelation in many regards. I think he had 13 catches for 80 yards. He caught a whole bunch of 3 or 4 or 5 yard passes, and then just had to make something out of it. He looked really good. They were talking about how he has more catches than any other tight end in the league, but does not. I don't think he's in the top 3 in yards.
Yeah.
So a lot of work for a guy, a lot of punishment. And I haven't even gotten to what I think was really, for me, the highlight, which was Javonte Williams, who just impresses more every week. And I'm sad to even use this name in comparison, considering the news on him. The guy he looked like was James Conner, which is sad due to his injury that'll put him out for the rest of the season. Hopefully he gets back quickly and healthy after that. But he ran with that physical presence at some moments where he was throwing guys on the ground. He was behind his offensive line, waiting carefully for the next play to develop. He was, cutting through. There's no lane here, and then he would just find one or charge through 5, 6, 7 guys. It was a really impressive game. All 10 rushes that he got. So that was again the quandary. Is like all these positives with a frustrating negative to kind of go with it. Where why did we give up on the run game again? And I like Miles. Miles has been good, but comparatively, I want to see more. I want to see 17, 18 rushes. I understand we're down, but that is our offense has to be balanced. We're missing half our guys. So a lot of ups and downs, I think, within that. Did you see any other major things on the offensive side of the ball?
Not really. And Javonte, to your point, would have looked even better. He had that kind of that wacky fumble where Tariq Stevenson took it out of his hands and just made a great play, I think. Snuck up, I don't say snuck up behind him. It snuck up as football players do. And took it away. Otherwise, he'd have had an even better day. I did not like abandoning the run. We talked about before we started recording that when I watched this game, it made me think, wow, this is Arizona's old offense. It's really Arizona's offense from last year because our run game's not working as well now. And now I think I know part of why. You took him. And so, yeah, it is. It looks very similar. And there's pluses and minuses to that. One of the negatives would be it's kind of a play from the lead kind of offense because it's all about the run.
Yes.
You're not going to be chasing 17 points in the fourth quarter with a run heavy offense. You're just not. They also treated the tight ends with a lot of bulk, like a lot of targets. Sounds familiar, right? And at that point, different teams and offenses seem to have different versions of supplementing the run game. You know, with Cliff Kingsbury, it was tons of screen passes. Like a screen passer, like, oh, he's just passing the ball all day long. It's like, yeah, but that's just supplementing the run. Like that's just
Yeah.
approaching chunk yardage game, from a different angle. So for this offense, yes, you run the ball and you will run it more in the future. It's just, come on. But you're also going to supplement it with these tight end 4-yard pass kind of things where it's effectively accomplishing something similar. High percentage throws. I mean, Dak was passing over 75%. But Jake Ferguson is also not really the guy who's going to just break out with 20, 30 yards very often, but he is going to chunk pretty well. He's going to turn a 4-yard catch into a 7 and that kind of thing. Like he's going to fall forward.
Yeah.
So I do like what I saw there from him. But moving on, let's get into next week while we still can. Next week we got Green Bay, and I can't remember suddenly. Are they playing? Yeah, they're home at least, so that's good. And Green Bay is coming off a loss, so it's not like you're playing the unbeatable juggernaut. They lost to Cleveland.
They look to be. Yeah.
Yeah, so they look beatable, but like thoughts, if you could fix one thing, just one thing going into next week of the problems that you faced this last week, what is it?
Yeah, it's got to be that over the top pass, right? If we can, I know it's going to be frustrating if all of a sudden we're giving up that 5-10 yard pass and all that, but I would right now, I think we would like to see less less 50-yard touchdowns, than we have in the last 2 games, because I feel like we've seen enough of the entire season in these last 2 games. So that would be the number one. But the thing I'd like to see us keep doing is controlling the run game. So that'll be the side of the ball that I'll take.
Yeah, and we'll get more into that game here in a little bit this week later on. But it was good to just kind of preview initial thoughts from last game going into that game. So, well, I know this one kind of sucked to watch and didn't feel good, but hopefully brighter days are in front of us. I was glad to hear that it looked like both Kenny Clark and Trayvon Diggs, while they did go out for portions of the game, apparently came back and finished. So you'll definitely want to have them. If you have to play the Packers without Kenny Clark, it's going to be really annoying given the circumstances. So to wrap things up, thank everybody for joining us today. We had fun talking about it, even if we didn't have as much fun watching it. We really appreciate you joining us. So if you're willing to, please drop us a like and a subscribe. We're trying to get up to 100 subscribers. It's kind of our next milestone. We really appreciate everyone who's joined us thus far. We hope you'll join us again. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you all next time. So to wrap things up, thank everybody for joining us today. We had fun talking about it, even if we didn't have as much fun watching it. We really appreciate you joining us. So if you're willing to, please drop us a like and a subscribe. We're trying to get up to 100 subscribers. It's kind of our next milestone. We really appreciate everyone who's joined us thus far. We hope you'll join us again. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you all next